All right, we're back after the break.
Mm-hmm.
So we all had a good time.
Yeah.
Sam went to Israel with his family.
Yeah, it was amazing. Inspiring, and it was like a very uplifting moment, event. And I completely appreciated every second of it.
It's not the first time you went, though.
Yeah, not the first time, but it was in a long time. I think maybe 4 or 5 years.
So what made this trip different? Because you were older and able to appreciate it, or was there something different about
definitely
the
because
trip?
I was older and able to appreciate it. And,
Okay.
I went there. I've never been there, felt so connected. I first went there and I was like, because when I went there, I was I think, on the border of maybe Syria. Yeah, I was on the border of Syria, right, where my hotel was. It was at the Satay. So it's not really on the border. It's 10 kilometers away.
Okay, cool. It's kept north, I guess.
Yeah. So
Is it a village, a city? What is it?
it's more like a wonderland. That's what it is.
Like a resort.
Yeah, it's a resort.
Okay.
So I went there, and that was when I went there, I didn't feel really at home, only because it was it was always hard to find where I was, and then I think after that I went to Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv is where I sort of started settling in.
1 second. So how long were you there for?
I was there for 4 days, 3 days.
No, how long was the whole trip in Israel?
2.5 weeks.
So you started up north at this little village.
Mm-hmm.
Syrian border, kind of weird because you're in the middle of this resort.
Yeah.
Then you went down to Tel Aviv. It starts to feel like Israel. You hear the language and okay.
Yeah.
How long? Tel Aviv? A couple of days.
Yeah, maybe.
And that's basically
4 or
just
5.
beach and what?
Yeah. There's a beach. We didn't really go to the beach. I think the coolest part
Museums? What'd you do in Tel Aviv?
was in Tel Aviv. So we went to something called the Blind Museum.
Yeah, it's in Holon.
Yeah, it's
I went there.
I couldn't.
Isn't that a crazy experience?
Yeah, and I was feeling very creeped out.
I remember. Well, your tour guide also is blind, right? Actually blind.
Yeah, and it was. But here's the weird part. My family was here's the thing. He was telling us stuff while we were going. He was pointing at us you're Josh, you're Sam, getting our exact things right.
Because he remembers from your sounds.
Yeah.
It's quite crazy. So if you don't know what it is, a blind museum, just explain to people what it is. It's you basically walk into a place that's completely pitch black. You cannot see anything. And they guide you to the experience of what it's like to be blind. So they'll take you to a supermarket, right? Mm-hmm. And you have to touch things. Okay, so this is an apple, it's an orange, and try to not bump into people.
Yeah.
There's a car, try to figure out the license plate number by touching it. Was there a room they put you into where you listen to music and sounds?
Mm-hmm, that was it was weird.
Like a dark room where you're sitting on the floor and just listening to music and sounds?
He, by then, I didn't really talk, so he didn't really hear my voice a lot.
Right.
And I was talking, I was sort of singing along as a joke, and he was Sam, please stop singing, and I was sort of surprised.
Right.
Because first he never heard me sing, so I was wow, that's very cool.
Right, but the way you see faces and remember faces, that's how they hear voices.
Yeah,
that's what you explained to us. Remember, because their sense of sight is off, it's just non-existent. So all their other senses become much more highly attuned, right? So they hear much better, and they can pick up on That's why I remember when they were sitting in that room there. It's dark, and they play classical music for you, and then they play a recording from a regular street, and you start to hear all these sounds that you never usually hear. Because you see everything, you don't think of all the sounds. But when you're in the pitch dark, you don't see anything. All you're thinking of is, what am I listening to?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the sounds become much more sharp, much more focused.
So the weirdest part is that when I first walked in, right, the lady is so we have these security cameras. So if you have your phone in there, anything, we could see anything and everything that you do, we're seeing and we're recording. And I was oh, that's kind of weird, whatever.
They were recording you while you were in the museum?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Could be it's a new feature, I don't know. Anyway.
So they probably took pictures for it after. I'm not sure.
Did you get to see it?
No. We left early because they said in the lunchroom.
Right at the end you go to a lunchroom.
Yeah. They said they have nuts, fish, chickpeas.
There's some allergies in the family.
And that is, Gabby's allergic to all of those.
Okay.
And so we did that, which was it It was very cool. I felt like very creeped out by it, and like I hate
walking around in the dark and
and I hate the dark, and me not being able to control like the lights makes me freaked out for some reason. But so that was like kind of creepy, and then we went to dinner. It was very fun.
So that was Tel Aviv.
Yeah.
You spent Shabbos there?
No. We spent Shabbos in Jerusalem.
And did you spend the Shabbos in that resort also up north?
Yes.
Okay, so I should figure out when Shabbos was, because like you're there for 5 days. Okay, so you're up north Shabbos, Tel Aviv during the week, and Shabbat in Jerusalem again.
Yeah.
That must have been, you were saying uplifting, inspiring. I'm imagining this is where it's all happening.
So I didn't go to the hotel that night because we were with JoJo.
Which night? Friday night?
Yeah, the first Friday that we were there in Jerusalem. We didn't go to the hotel because we were with JoJo.
Your sister was in seminary a little farther.
Yeah.
Okay. So you went to her shul, her school, or?
No. There was a minion. There's a minion inside. There's a show. And then David set it out.
At the hotel, okay.
At the hotel. So we went in there, and then it was a very fun weekend. So we did that, and then we went to, then the next week, I think we went to.
What was the highlight, inspiration and uplifting wise in Jerusalem?
Oh, like that part of it, it wasn't like, it was very uplifting. It just wasn't as uplifting because we were there for Shabbos, and like there was a lot of singing and dancing, but it wasn't really like, we didn't do anything tours, nothing like that. But it was like a very good feeling being there. So then we went to Eilat, which was very cool.
Yeah.
We did a lot of water activities like scuba diving.
So you went Shabbos, Jerusalem, went down to Eilat, and you came back for Shabbos?
Yeah. So the scariest thing about scuba diving, first, you go and it's like a very sketchy place. Like, it could be this, like the size of this table, the room that we were in, right?
Okay.
And this table isn't that big. So
it's a couple of feet long and a foot and a half wide.
Yeah. Like, I have very cool pictures of me underwater, but like when we went, there was this guy with like tattoos on his body, and like he was bald with like a little line
of hair.
Yeah. And like the guys were like going crazy in Russian, and like the first thing you hear, we were in the water, first thing you hear is like, what the heck did you do? Like, as if the guy made a mistake.
Who is screaming this? Your guide, or your like your
Josh's instructor?
Each of you guys have your own person diving with you, right? That's what you have to do. So, until you get like a license to do that.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure since Josh and my dad had asthma, they couldn't do it, right?
You can't go so deep.
Yeah, so they couldn't go deep, but their instructor were like holding them, right? But with me,
how far deep is the water anyway?
20 feet.
Deep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not like.
I went like 30 feet deep. Because
is the water clear, or it's more murky?
No, it's clear. We wear goggles. So
you see any cool fish?
Yeah, but like I wasn't paying attention. I was trying to breathe. That was like my main thing, because you can only breathe with your mouth, and like your jaw's basically breaking when you're doing it. Cause
yeah, I've done it a few times.
Yeah, but it's very cool.
It's a very cool experience.
Yeah. So we did that, and then I think after Eilat, we went jeep riding in the desert, which I told you about.
In the south? I guess in the desert, yeah.
Yeah, so in the south, and that's when we went like very close to Saudi Arabia, and like those places we were very close to Jordan.
You mean like to Jordan? Or to Egypt and Jordan is down there.
Mm-hmm. So we went like very close to those places.
And big signs, no taking pictures, and all that.
Maybe, yeah. We took
like, was it a highway, or it's like in the desert? It's not like
it was in the desert.
Okay, so there's no border patrol. It's just, here's the border, don't cross it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So
you have an armed guard with you the whole time?
Not on guard, no. We just have like our tour guide, which I'm guessing they all have guns.
Was there ever a point you felt like unsafe?
Never.
You don't feel it there. It's like when people sitting here and they watch the news and they think the whole place is chaotic, but when you go to visit there, it's just a cool country. It's
and country. Like people say, like, don't walk through the Arab Shuk at night, especially on a Friday night.
I've done that.
Yeah. So
you go from David Citadel, it's the fastest way to walk.
Yeah. So first, you know the Safrans? You probably don't.
Family?
Yeah.
Maybe.
So their son was actually, like, we were very, very, very close with them.
Okay.
Right. So their son went to yeshiva for a couple of years, joined the army. And he wasn't really like the most athletic guy, like more computer tech. So he's fighting in the elite unit and driving tanks, actually.
Yeah,
in the army.
He's combat?
In the army, yeah.
Wow.
So while we were walking through Arab Shuk on Friday night, right, I felt the safest then because
you see soldiers every 2 seconds.
That, and he had an M16 on him.
Okay.
So
so you were in pretty good shape.
Yeah, and it was fully loaded.
How awesome is the Kotel Friday night?
Yeah, it's like
if you're going down the Arab Shuk and you make a right, and then you go through security checkpoint, and then you're standing atop the steps and you see the whole view.
Yeah, I went
How
there
amazing
and
is
I
that?
thought there was like 1 million people. It was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was dancing, and it was very
That's a cool
fun.
experience. Friday night at the Kotel is a very unique experience.
You see like there are people with like their nails painted, like boys with like tattoos on their neck. They
all
have
types.
Long hair, no kippah, like everyone's dancing there. It's really a good energy.
It's a real unity. All you come together.
It. So
if you think about it, the Kotel that you see is only about a quarter of just the Western Wall. It's it goes deeper under the ground, the wall itself. And if you're facing the Kotel, the Western Wall, you go to the left. So there's like a couple of yeshivas, and there's like the Arab quarter. The Western Wall goes all the way through that. So there are some homes who their wall in the living room is just the Western Wall, but it's just never been cleared out to make it open. But it's only one bit of what's much bigger.
Yeah, of course, it's huge, probably.
Yeah. And you can see the size of those stones also. I don't even know if till today they figured out how they were able to move. Even with modern technology, getting those stones there would be a massive deal. Ancient technology, what were they using? I don't know, some pulley system? Be able to chisel out and move these massive stones. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
And then I went for a tour. The tour was the craziest.
The tunnel tour down?
No. It was. We went to King David's.
Oh,
castle.
The citadel, like the tower of David, right at the entrance of the old city.
I think.
Is it above ground or underground?
It was underground.
So it's tunnels along the Western Wall?
No, it wasn't at the Western Wall. It wasn't a tour. It was a tour. I'm pretty sure it was King David's castle, like his actual castle.
In Jerusalem?
Yeah, in the old city.
Is like where they used to have the water, the aqueduct? Chizkiah's tunnel, maybe?
Maybe, but so
anyway.
So they had a big clue was that in King David, on each on the I'm not sure what you call those, but on the things like on the top of a roof, he had a certain thing where it was like a swirly, like that on each side, right?
He had like an emblem engraved at the top of his
So they
stone.
found one of the stones of the emblem. So
that's awesome. It's gotta be recent.
Yeah, it was recent, but so they found it and then duplicated it in a smaller rock so that they could show, because apparently it was like 2 tons, the actual one of the rocks.
So they found one piece that had like an emblem from David's time, and they recreated a mini model of what that would have looked like.
And then
that's very cool.
So there was a rabbi who I'm pretty sure he kept on saying with the first Beit HaMikdash getting destroyed, he kept on saying like that it was going to be destroyed, right? And then the Jews kept on taking
prophets,
that joke, yeah. And then I'm pretty sure the rabbi was burned, or
yeah, they did.
Yeah, so they found
Yirmiyah, right?
Yeah, so they found one of the people who burned him. Like they found the ashes of him, and then 30 meters from him, they found another guy who burned him, right? So they had like a lot of clues.
They were very upset at him for prophesying that the temple would be destroyed. They thought he was like a bad prophet.
And there's a lot of false prophecy in the Torah, so
they thought they weren't very happy with him. Yeah, Yirmiyah.
So that was like very, very cool.
Right, because they know the general spot where it happened from the Torah description, and they find something that would match the story.
And so there was this guy named Dovile or something like that, who was like the first person of a certain army unit where like they go undercover in Arab places.
Oh, like modern times? You asking what the name of the unit is? Is it called Duvdavan?
I think.
Duvdavan's like a...
So he was the first person...
Serious special ops.
So he was the first person to do it.
To be part of that unit.
He was the one who created the unit.
With Sayed Matkal? There's like different units
I'm not 100%.
Anyway, he was in one of these elite special ops.
And he was the one who created like the unit.
Oh, wow.
So he said, well, he was like...
How old is this guy?
Now he's like 60 something.
Okay.
He looks like he's like living the life. He looks like a bit like Pablo Escobar, just very young, like very bright. He's like he's a very nice guy. So
he was your tour guide?
No. So my tour guide was we had a tour guide, and then he actually like came at the end because they built tunnels, right? Of like.
Talk about the Arabs in Gaza building tunnels coming to Israel.
No, he built tunnels of where the Beit HaMikdash used to be.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah.
And he found like the Jews made coins, right?
So he's part of like the excavation, like these historians that dig out stuff to find.
He was the one who found out about the King David excavation, right? So he also started like digging through this like tunnel, which is like very close to the Arab places.
You can actually go in there. It's underneath.
Yeah.
The tunnel tours. You can go down there.
So he said while he was going, there was that tunnel and then an underground tunnel under the underground tunnel.
Okay.
Where they had coins where it said 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, which was how many years they fought for the Beit HaMikdash. So the Jews, I'm pretty sure it was the second Beit HaMikdash destruction. The Jews didn't want people to say like, oh, they didn't fight, they just gave it over. So they
fought terribly in the Second Temple.
Yeah. So
they also died terribly.
So underground, he said he found about 1,000 of those coins saying 2 year in Hebrew, which is like the second year of fighting of like war.
Wow.
So he said by that he could
the rebellion.
He could locate like certain things of the temple and like
right.
And he said it relates to politics because a lot of politicians are saying like, oh, Israel's not really Jews' land, and then he found this, and Donald Trump is actually going in like a month to see this place.
Really, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Recently, there's been a lot of amazing discoveries. And the truth is, I mean, they're getting too political, but there are like there are certain areas where some of the Arabs are throwing things out.
Yeah.
And the historians are literally going through the garbage, trying to find stuff, old pottery, old coins, old anything.
Mm-hmm.
You dig anywhere you dig in Jerusalem, you dig 15, 20 feet down, you're gonna find something from some time in history.
Yeah, and I have a picture of one of the coins that they just found, and it said year 1.
It's awesome.
It was the first year of digging. Yeah. And
it's incredible. It's that during that time when the Second Temple was destroyed, essentially the Romans were in control of everything, and there was a lot of like infighting within the Jews. It was actually a very dark time for Jewish history. The Jews were fighting with each other. Some Jews were cozying up to like power, the Romans, and others were a lot of corruption.
Yeah.
Bottom line, and there was a group of people who wanted to fight back, and eventually the siege came and they starved them out. It was terrible. They starved Jews and they locked them in the city. No food going in and out, so they couldn't eat anything. Jews were starving, and there was like it's a terrible time. The whole that whole era of the destruction of the temple. The destruction of the temple is only one event.
Yeah. It's
the main event, but it's surrounded by
so many.
This whole rebellion which killed hundreds of thousands, if not even more.
Yeah.
People. You think of Masada, it's the same period. Beitar and all those different places where Jews were literally massacred in mass.
Mm-hmm.
It was a Holocaust of its time, just killing Jews in huge numbers. So when they think of the cross, there were tens of thousands of Jews hung on the cross.
Yeah.
They used to put like crosses along the highways, and they put Jews there essentially. And the idea was when you come in and out of the city, you looked at those crosses and you're like, okay, you make trouble, the Romans are going to put you there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a way of scaring people that would rebel. It was a terrible time, that whole era. And a lot of the stones we have in Jerusalem, like the Western Wall, is not from that time, but from a little before that time.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's about 2,000-something years ago, is it? Almost. Right, it's just after Hanukkah time. Hanukkah happens halfway in the Second Temple, and just after Hanukkah, there's a King Herod who rebuilt the temple. That's where the Kotel's from his time. And then sometime after that, it became very, very corrupt. Mm-hmm. And then the whole corruption led to the destruction, and literally millions of Jews getting, I don't know, millions, but hundreds of thousands, for sure, maybe even millions of Jews who were killed in that time.
Which is, of course, horrible.
Yeah. It's crazy time. It was a crazy time, but we have all that history now.
Yeah. Thank God we could.
You can actually look at it. Yeah. Not just from books. You can like literally look at it.
So for me, like it was so inspiring. First, when I went to the Kotel during Friday night, it was like the best moment. It was amazing. And then we had dinner with my brother's friends and my sister's friends, which was amazing.
Back at the hotel.
Yeah, and they obviously had something to say. they had a lot of things to say, right?
Stuff they've learned or whatever.
Yeah. So that was amazing too. And then also, like, what I found was amazing was, so when we were there, right?
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of tours and stuff, which was inspiring. But like things I learned without the tours, like when you're just walking there and like you see like 100 Jews, or like I saw a lot of Ethiopian Jews and like so many different people there.
Yeah.
And it's so inspiring being there.
Yeah, just walking around and knowing that this is a place where we belonged for 3,000 years.
Yeah.
And everybody here is one with you in this connection to this place. It's a very incredible feeling. And I know that we're talking about it. I think the first time I actually went to Israel was about your age. It was the summer after my bar mitzvah, so I was almost 14.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time also going to the Kotel Friday night was like blown away. Jews from all over, dancing, singing, everybody's connected. And you know.
So that's amazing. And then so what was interesting I found was, so this guy I told you, Davido, he was like the first person on a spy mission. And so while he was on it, he was asking, like, he was in a place like full of Arabs, which that place is like where a lot of Jewish monuments are, but the Jews can't take it back because they've already sort of handed it to them, right? So he was on a mission, he was there, and it's like, I'm pretty sure it's literally right across from the old city. So he was
East
there,
Jerusalem.
and then he went to like a lot of Arabs' house, and he said, like, why is there always a brick on the wall? So the Arabs actually took off the brick, like on a couple houses. They took off the brick for him, and there's a mezuzah on every single one of their houses, because they believe it's like a curse to
remove it. Yeah. Like Jews used to live there. There was a mezuzah, and they don't want to ruin the good luck. Wow. Mm-hmm. I actually saw that once here in Hampstead. Non-Jewish family once ended up knocking on someone's door. I saw mezuzah, and non-Jewish family answers like, "Oh, we just didn't want to take it down. We thought it was bad luck to take it down." You know, they sense there's something that these Jews have. They have some blessing. They have some connection. They don't want to.
So being there was like the most inspiring moment, because I learned so many things.
Yeah.
And especially like you could see on a Nike, on like a Gucci, on like a Louis Vuitton, stuff like that. There's a mezuzah on every single store, and it's like, it's cool. And even the clubs in Tel Aviv, they have mezuzahs.
Right.
It's very cool.
Yeah. So I guess like the takeaway is like the previous Rebbe, when he moved to New York from Russia. So there's different laws about when you have to put up mezuzah, because you put it right away or 30 days later. And in Israel, you put it up right away. And he just said he wanted to put the mezuzah up right away. Why? Because he wants to make Israel here, meaning to say the spirit and that the connection and that you feel to every other Jew when you're walking down the street, and the pride of being Jewish, right? You feel like you feel on top of the world. You feel like this is my place. I'm proud of who I am. You don't have to like that. I guess the ultimate is be able to take that and bring it here, to make
essentially
make Israel here, or at least live in Israel up in here, right? That I'm proud of who I am, and then I'm connected to 3,000 years of history, and I'm connected to thousands of other Jews and millions of other Jews. We're all in this together. We all share a history. We all share a goal. We all share a belief. We all share a faith. That kind of feeling, to bring that here, you know, that's really the challenge. It's one of the big reasons why people used to ask the Rebbe why he never went to Israel. The Rebbe never went to Israel. No, actually, the previous Rebbe went to Israel, but people used to ask the Rebbe why he didn't go to Israel, and he used to say that if I went to Israel, millions of Jews here would stay here, and who would connect them. So it'd be very nice. I would go to Israel, but there's Jews here that don't have that connection. Right? And we need to connect them to bring them that connection, right? You know, like even say, okay, so I'm a rabbi, even like, you know, but even someone like you, right? Living in the world out there, you have friends you're connected with. You feel that connection because of your visit, right? You feel that connection to your history, to your people, to your Judaism. Many of your friends don't feel that connection, right? And if you went to Israel and stayed there, then your friends who would and could get connected through you now lost that.
Yeah.
Right. So there's one way bringing people to Israel. Then there's taking Israel and bringing it out to everywhere else. Right. The connection that you feel in Israel to bring that to others. That's really that's the big challenge.
Yeah.
Especially if you're an influencer, and you really have to think about that. Not influencer like a rabbi influencer, but like if you're, isn't that what they call Instagram stars, influencers?
Yes.
If you're like, if people, everybody's an influencer. Everybody has friends who they influence. Everybody has friends who they make an impression on, right? So you have to think about them and how you can bring what you felt there to them, so they also can feel that connection, feel that bond and that history and that uplifting and inspiration.
Yeah. So, like for me, even in school, I said like I had the most amazing trip, and they don't really get it. Like the kids there, and of the non-Jews, I don't really expect to get it because. So I said I went to Israel, and all the teachers like, oh yeah, that's so cool.
Right.
And then I told them like there's so much history behind it. It's not just like, oh, that's cool. It's like
visiting Rome is cool.
Yeah.
Visiting Paris is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Visiting Israel is not just cool. It's a whole different.
It's like I don't want to say to them like a crazy like of your religion like the craziest place, but that's sort of what it's like. It's like where's your religion been found, and I'm pretty sure for them it's also Israel.
For many,
because JC was.
Well, the most popular religions here are breakaways from Judaism.
Yeah, from Judaism and everything started in Israel.
Right.
So.
It all starts in Israel. That's where you're. Right. Mm-hmm. It's your religion, your people, your identity, on a very, very deep level, is connected there. So it's not just like, in other words, you can learn 2,000-year-old history in Rome, and then you learn 2,000-year-old history in Israel, and it's a different story. Rome is very interesting, but Israel is mine. It's my history. It's my life. It's my identity. It's a whole different ballgame. It's so much more real. You can touch it almost. You almost feel it in the ear.
Yeah. So it was like that's what's amazing about it.
Right.
It's that you don't only feel like it's not a connection like, oh, I'm there. It's like I'm enjoying it and all. It's like I'm there. I'm literally feeling the energy, and it's like it's a connection. It's like a personal bond.
Personal.
Yeah, and you could see like even there were people in the elevator, and we were like, oh, so why are you here? And they're like, oh, we're a Catholic group, like that type of those type of people. So I was like, why are you here? And he was like, we're going to tour, like we're touring here. Of course, I'm guessing like they're going to the Western Wall. So the next day we see them at the Western Wall.
Oh, you saw them there?
Yeah, which is of course the Kotel. So it's like everyone could connect there. Everyone has something to take away from there.
Right.
And you could tell because you'll see every religion there.
I guess that's kind of like Judaism is about being a light unto the nations. So the message of Judaism, living a more happy, more fulfilled life, a more godly life, is universal.
Exactly.
You know. Yeah, it's very interesting to see how people connect to it. You really become you become alive. It's the best way to say it. You become alive.
It's so uplifting. Just being there, it's like you feel yourself sort of migrating to that place.
Yeah. You feel like this natural pull and connection. Like this is me.
You know? Like as if there's nothing to lose there because you have everything. Like not in a way that like there's nothing to lose. Like you have. I mean, like that you feel like you can't even lose it. It's so strong. Like you could do anything. You just can't lose the bond. Once you're in Israel, it's like unless you're like on the plane, you don't break the bond when you're there.
Don't break it even when you're on the plane. Got to bring it back home.
Yeah, and like even the food there, it's like the best food ever.
It's true. Israel does have very good food.
Yeah. And the chicken wings there. Oh, okay. So funny story.
Right.
So my family's allergic to nuts. Like a lot of people. So I actually ate nuts. I didn't know I was eating nuts.
You're allergic also? No, but you still want to keep away.
Yeah. So I was eating nuts. Like I didn't know they were because they were in like a Crave cereal.
Okay.
So I was eating it and I was like to my mom, what's in this? And she's like, oh, there's nuts in it. Like whatever, casually. I was like, okay, whatever. And then, so Isaac has like a fear of like crazy, like you can't imagine.
Is he actually allergic? He's just scared of it because his siblings are.
Yeah. So like if I tell him I was eating it, he would be like, stay away. Yeah. So me and him were eating chicken wings, and we were like, what? And I'm pretty sure he was eating the ones without nuts. So I'm like, oh, what's this? What's like the topping? Because there's like a little topping.
Mm-hmm.
And the person was like, I don't know what it is. And I'm like, yesh egozim. And she was like, yes, egozim.
That means nuts in Hebrew.
Yeah. So I was like, nuts? And I was like, and she was like, oh, yes, egozim. And I was like, oh, shoot, whatever. so I ate some more. And then Isaac didn't have any nuts in it, nothing. He looked in and he's like, and put it to the side.
He just got freaked out just because he heard. And it's all kinds of funny experiences when you travel with family, you know?
And like, they could literally put nuts in any, like, you could be eating like a Rice Krispies bar.
You know, I read somewhere that there's a study that Israel has a less...
Yeah, they have the least amount of nut allergies.
Because of bamba?
What's bamba?
Bamba is like that Israeli, it's like a popcorn. Well, it's not a popcorn, it's not a corn, but it's like a puff snack that's covered in like peanut butter cream or like flakes.
Mm-hmm.
Bamba. Anyway, so it's a very popular snack in Israel. And the theory is because of that, so kids and pregnant women are exposed to the peanuts, so the kids grow up with less allergies. Isn't that crazy?
I was like they put nuts in like,
because they put nuts everywhere. Like we were saying, like to put a Rice Krispie bar, you can find nuts in there.
Like water.
They're big on peanut butter.
Like even if it would taste the exact same, and even the nuts would make it worse, they would still do it just because. So
they're into that, yeah.
Yeah.
You go to like the market, Machayoda.
Yeah.
These huge stalls with every kind of nut there, roasted and fried. Mm-hmm. It's delicious. The smells are great.
So
you ever walk down? Do you go there in Erev Shabbos? Walk down this market.
Of course.
Smell the fresh challah and the frying nuts. It's delicious. Love it. Fresh fruit.
So when you're they could put nuts in anything, of course. And me and my mom were like, why is there always nuts in everything? Like there is, and no one's allergic. Here, it's like everyone's allergic. So
that's why.
Me and my mom made a theory that it's either people eat a lot of nuts there, and that's why their immune system is just like it's built up to that, or the weather. I thought it was the weather for no absolute reason. It's just
the weather.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
No, it's actually the immune system. There's just a whole study about that. It's like you build a resistance. It's like taking a vaccine. You know what a vaccine is? Like they put like a little bit of a sickness in it to build your system so there's no actual like peanut butter vaccine, but because people are more exposed to, at least that's the theory. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big way that people stop allergies because they build up to it.
Exactly. Yeah. So in Israel, apparently, the whole society is less susceptible because of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so wrap this up.
Israel's inspiring. If you could go. Bring something back and don't stay for too long. Cause
not just the souvenir. Bring back that energy.
Yeah.
I can feel it. I feel it from you. It's great. Hope you guys feel it too.